Day 5, Wisconsin to South Dakota. New dawn, new day is what I'm calling it.
Squeeze in that and keep it revved. And so I had to like brake and rev to keep my bike on.
Day 5, part 1.
Good morning, Mike. Have a good ride, Mike. Stay safe. I'll do my check-in photo. I actually am remembering to do it by myself. Take check-in photo with GotMojo. Have a good ride. Good. That's done, everybody. Yesterday, my hand was hurting real bad, and I have not put my cramp buster on until today. Good. I did it. He always reminds me of the photo. This is the first time I haven't been like, oh yeah. Yeah, my hand, from my hand surgery, by the way, I was riding full watt all the day yesterday and screwdriving a million times and jumping and everything. And I will tell you, the inner part of my curly Q is where the surgery is, and my wrist both started hurting, and both, the wrist doesn't hurt today, but it did yesterday, but the hand is sore and I get concerned. Holy I gotta open my shield. This visibility is ridiculous. This is what GotMojo said today. I said new dawn, new day, and he said fog, not good. And I'm like, yeah, animals. All right, so I have apologized to everybody practically, and if I haven't apologized to you directly, I'm apologizing now because I had an extreme lack of food, sleep deprivation, total exhaustion, heat exhaustion, any kind of exhaustion there could be. I had it yesterday. I had a great day. I mean, the rain, I actually thought I could die. I was kind of like thinking this could be it. After I saw the bear, because I was like, there's no way I can stop for that. I was nervous as hell. My adrenaline was spiking. That's probably added to everything. The adrenaline I had yesterday was all the animals and the danger. We got on the bridge. There was no rain. That was awesome. There's moss on that grate that I had to ride on. I was looking at it almost green, and I was like, does that make it slippery? That ain't good. But really, the bridge was no big deal. It was awesome. Yeah, visibility is real piss poor. My shield has morning dew. I'm also, I don't know if it's my hand surgery or just cannonball fatigue, but I'm doing this thing, or maybe it's because I've retrained my brain to not stop throttling. But when I go to brake, I'm not rolling all the way off the throttle. Now I am, because I'm thinking about it. So I had to reach... the last few days, I have to keep the throttle going all times, and then I go to brake, it's on, and then now I don't need to, and I'm still doing it. That's not safe. So this has been a total shit show for me and some of the riders, and some of the riders are having an absolute blast, which is great. And then they're looking at the rest of us monsters. Actually, I'm the only monster, probably. Like the other people's hardships, and then me, the monster. They're like, with my hardships, and going, whoa. Kimbered, you said the nicest thing. Everybody's been so nice to me. So nice, especially when I'm being a monster. Kim, you said that you were proud of me or something, that I made it in before you yesterday with all my issues, and that I'm still trying. And I'm still trying, everybody. Like, my goal is to ride this to Eureka, California. Came here to be really competitive this year, and I was trying to be competitive yesterday to make up, and you know what? I am just not going to score well, and that's fine. And I'm not going to be able to film much, and that's fine too. I've now surrendered. I've surrendered, guys. I'm now just trying to get me and the bike across America, and if I can get points along the way, it is a competition. I'm going to go for it. My game's not going as well. I thought I was going to do awesome this year. Like, I was like, I'm ready. And I've had some really good days where I was kicking ass. And Seamus 26, you got me kicking ass again. Michigan did me right. That state, I got love for that state. And even with the mosquitoes, like, I got a bite on my face. I got bites on my back. I was like, what is this? It stung so bad. I was like, you can't feel that in LA. They just are silent and they itch later. Now here, I don't know if I'm losing sensation in my body, but I have a bite on my face, bites all over my arms, my torso, and they don't itch. Red welts or whatever, but they don't itch. So is that normal for your mosquitoes? Or am I just losing sensations of my body because my body is in pure survival mode, that a mosquito bite is the least of my worries? I'm always trying to figure stuff out. That's how my brain works. And of course, I don't know if I have logic. I don't know if I do. GotMojo, he wished he had a camera last night for the shit show I had in the parking lot, because I was riding around I knew the party was somewhere nearby. It wasn't at the hotel. I wished it was at the hotel. And I was like, somebody just tell me where it is so I can ride there before my bike dies. Because, I got to take all this stuff off to jump it again. And then I was like, it. And then when I got off the bike, my face shield was half flipping off. I was screaming, cursing. I threw my shit on the ground. I'm so mad, storming, stomping, freaking out, totally hungry. And then the meltdown starts happening. I was like, I thought I lost my fanny pack, and GotMojo's like, look, he had it in his hand. And I guess I was being a bitch and saying no, and like searching around and freaking out, going, oh my God. Like I was just crazy. He gave it to me, and I quickly cooked it around my waist. I don't even know if I said thank you, man. Thank you. I've been trying to apologize and say thank you. So what I'm going to say, guys, is this cannonball is hard, and what they say, it's a test of rider and machine. Me and my machine are being tested, and we've both not been functioning at 100% or 90 or 80 or 70. You know, we're not doing so good. And the thing is, you have to just not quit. You have to just not quit, and that's where I'm at. I'm just not going to quit. I don't want to quit. I want to power on. I want to be proud of myself. I'm doing this for myself. I'm not going to quit. If the bike quits or my body quits, that's a different story. But right now, I'm doing everything I can to not quit. I started this thing off super sleep deprived. That was a big strike, number one. You start deviating from your systems. I pulled out my SD cards to put them somewhere else for a quicker grabbing. Bad. No, don't deviate from your because I was like, they're not where they're supposed to be. Meltdown. I thought they flew out in the wind yesterday, the stuff I recorded, and I cried. I just cried. I'm gonna use this throttle assist. There we go. I need to twist it up is what I'm learning. Right now it's doing nothing. So now I'm just using my hand again, my wrist. That's fine. I'll fix it later. So day 5, I get the cramp buster on my grip, and I got it specifically because of my hand surgery. I had a torn thumb ligament. My tender thing is in between the thumb and the pointer finger, and it's tender in there and got scar tissue in there and gets hurty, and that's what is squeezing right directly on the throttle 12 hours a day at watt or whatever the I'm doing. I took a photo of me and Mr. Klean yesterday. We are in the same show. He is having a hard time. He's having fuse problems too, electrical. His bike's getting banged up. His back and sciatica are messing him up. He doesn't know how much he could go more. I don't even remember what he's riding. I just know it's white. I don't know if it's a fly. I don't know what it is. But he said, I don't think this is the bike for this. Yeah, I'll tell you what. This year I was certainly, like earlier, I was considering test riding a Honda ADV 150 and maybe buying a brand new Scoot, that for Cannonball. And then I was like, I'll squeeze that one more with the GT. Well, I still love this GT. It's still, look, we're still going. I was definitely thinking, man, if I had a new Honda ADV, I'd be cruising along like the ADV Ferreros. But then again, like I can go faster on this, and it's a competition, and it's exciting, and I'm a little GoPam go on this thing, so, Yesterday was a crazy storm. Some of that filmed. Told you about the bridge. Actually, GotMojo before the bridge, his bike died. He thinks it was too wet, and obviously if that must have been right because he was riding later. I had no idea he was riding later. They didn't text me. They put it in the Discord app, and I never saw that. So I thought he was on the truck all day. Cheryl met up with us when he died, and then because I wasn't turning on my Garmin yet. That's a last case scenario for me to save the battery. If GotMojo wants me to lead, I'll turn it on then and go in front. Or if he wants to go away and go faster from me away, then I'll turn it on and go myself. I am saving my external battery strictly for GPS, so no filming. When my Senna camera runs out, like in an hour, goodbye folks, and I'm just letting it roll because I can't deal with it. So there you go. Oh yeah, so I got with Cheryl. We were riding around and there was deers jumping in the path on the way to bonus photo 1, I believe. As we're riding around there, cops had a road blocked and they told us there was a power line that was down. So we had to take a detour. So as she's gathering the info, I see Lynn is right there on the black Vespa, who's Mary's buddy. And I met Lynn early on. She bought the gas cap from somebody because she lost her. She was really stoked to get it. Anyway, so Lynn was like, oh yeah, okay. She's like, power line. Okay, she starts looking at her Garmin and just looks dumbfounded like I do. Sorry, Lynn, if you were dumbfounded. Maybe you were just like, oh God, what do I do now? Which we were all thinking. And then I knew Cheryl was getting like the, hey, go here, go there from the cops to get back on track. So I just yelled at her, I'm all, Lynn, follow us. And she goes, okay. And so we started riding through the, I want to say forest, but whatever it is. There's tree shrapnel on the ground. You got to dodge, It wasn't too crazy, but there was a few hazards. And then there was deer, multiple deer. Lynn was further back from us. Me and Cheryl were kind of rallying it, kind of hugging tight together. So I tried to point out the deer to Lynn. I don't know if she saw me pointing. I was manically pointing because it was running around. We kept going and she passed through there. So we saw multiple deer in there. Then we get to bonus photo 1. I take a picture of the wrong building. I don't get the points. Steve's scorecard later goes, I need to look at your bonus photo 1 in your camera roll because somebody called you out for I'm not going to name names, for having the wrong photo. I go, did I get the wrong building? Go, let's look. And I go, it's not this. He goes, yeah, no, it should be this. I go, okay, yeah, I don't have that. And I go, yeah, no problem, man. I go, I don't have a problem with somebody calling me out. This is a fair competition. I don't want any points I did not earn. I want my true bragging rights for whatever I get. So then we're riding. I'm just going to call out the crazy shit we saw. Me and Cheryl, she was in front of me, and there was a big bear by the side of the road, kind of near Cheryl. And she has, I don't know if she has a bear horn or what she has. She was honking it for the deer. I started honking for the deer. I don't know if that was right, Cheryl, but I did. Then she started honking from earlier. And her horn's way like loud and interesting. And they skedaddled those deer. I did not honk at the bear. The bear was near Cheryl. She can handle that. And I don't know if she honked at them or if they just got spooked. But Mama Bear and Cubs they just started running to the right. And I look over like this, and there was a tree like where that White House is, not far at all. And the Cubs started like barreling up barely, like they were barely up. And Mama Cub was standing right by the base of the tree with the arm kind of like protecting her cubs. And I was like, oh, and we just kept going. So I think I saw 4 bears yesterday because with GotMojo, he's only see that deer, and I go, I think that was a bear. I said it was a bear or a werewolf. It was a pure rainstorm craziness. And that was the point when I thought, okay, I could die, because if a bear or the deer, and it was dark when we were riding in this rainstorm, jumped out at me and was right there, they could kill me, and I don't, in the rain, don't have the stopping power. So at that point, I just started thinking like, okay, well, I'm just going to ride my best. I'm doing what I love. If this is how I go, this is how I go. And I actually had a peace about it. Obviously, the goal is not to die. Anyways, later in the day, me and Cheryl are rallying, and then one point she's like, you go ahead. So I turn on my GPS, and I made a bunch of wrong turns, but I still kept on course. And Cheryl's a fantastic rider, and I was rallying in the twisties. It felt great, man. Michigan felt great, even with my mistakes. Like at one point, I thought I was ahead of her. I get to the checkpoint, and she was there, and I realized, oh yeah, of course, because I made a couple wrong turns, or maybe she had a shortcut. So I went, oh, and then we kept riding together. So me and Cheryl, like, we're staying together, but then we were splitting together and staying. Oh, and after the Mackinac Bridge, I was waving with all my might because she couldn't hear my horn. And just waving. We're on the freeway after Mackinac, and her top case bounced open, lit full up, right? Just straight up. I could see all her in her bike, and some silver thing that looked like a helmet bag flew out. That's the only thing I saw fly out, and I was waving, watching her, you know? And I finally got her attention. I was like, pull over, and I pull up next to her, and she's kind of like, what? Thinking I have a problem. I'm all, your top case is open. And she was like, oh my God. So she gets out, and she grabs some case that was sitting on top. She's like, this is the most important thing. And it was still there. I think it was green. And I go, I only saw one thing fly out. It was silver, and it looked like a helmet badge. She goes, oh, that's my seat cover. And then she looked back, like thinking she could go get it. I go, girl, it's miles back there. I couldn't get your attention. It's gone. And she was like, oh, okay. Like, she was bummed, but she was like, maybe they'll give me another one. It's Cannonball. That was the rain day Mackinac Bridge fiasco. Only fiasco, minor in the scheme of things, because she didn't lose her important and nobody got hurt. So at one point I was rallying, and I got separated from Cheryl, and I was just doing my ride, and I knew she'd probably catch up with me, because that's pretty much what happens. Like, we catch up with each other. She's a great rider, and she sometimes has shortcuts. And then I died at Mike's service. I have the picture, Langley somewhere, and I was like, here we go again. So I rode the last leg, CP3, to hotel on day 3 night on the new battery, and then I rode 5:55 a.m. to 1:20 p.m. on the new battery. So that's how many hours I got. So however long that is. I also had very minimal stops, only for gas on day 4. So I was riding like full watt most of the day. So I don't know if that amount of hours will be a true indication of how much I get on the battery, because today I plan on stopping a lot more to make sure I eat and take care of myself better. Because like I said, competition level has gone down. I'm not that slow and steady rider. I'm a fly by the seat of your pants. Let's go. Ride it like you stole it. You know, let's have some fun. Let's do this thing. Come on, let's get some points. You know, competitive. I'm a contender. As I was telling my wife, she's like, ride with somebody. I was like, I'm going to compete this year. I'm prepared to compete. So actually, I'm really proud of myself that I've been able to navigate solo. I've made mistakes, but I've managed to stay on course. It's not like I've ridden so far away off course and never been to get back on. So that for GoPam, knowing how terrible I am at navigation, like I got a handle of Taggart's trick shots. I get it. And GotMojo's GPX files he gave me are on my iPhone. I get that too. My turn-by-turns, trash. I need digital. I can't look at paper turn-by-turns. I've learned that about myself. Maybe they're not total trash, because actually if my electronics go to I have paper turn-by-turns on my person, so maybe it's not trash. I'll be cursing first, but I will laugh if I have to pull out those turn-by-turns and use those if all my electronics die. Oh my god. Chin up, Beardie. Hey, Beardie, I'm trying to keep my chin up. My buddy was supposed to do this with me, but he couldn't fly here because of the pandemic. I'm sorry you're not here, man. I wish you were here. So I told Andrew he's my roommate for the rest of this time. He's not sleeping in a hammock. That's one thing I could do for another writer. I'm going to do it. He said I could use his video. He has a crazy crossing this out. This bridge was out. I watched the video in the room last night. I was like, you got to let me use this. I'll put your name all over it. And he's like, sure. He grabbed planks of wood and he put it across the bridge. He's like, I checked it out to see if it could cross. And I saw it's got concrete with these metal spikes coming out of the concrete. And it's got wood panels that you pick up, and there's like, I don't know, holes in there, like holes. And then he put wood planks, and he was like teeter, what are those called? Teeter totters. I don't know what those called. You know what I mean? Seesaws. Put those wood things on and seesaw teeter tottered out of there. And I'm like, that's unbelievable. Because there was bridges out, road closures, just testing my patience.
And stay tuned, because once Andrew sends me his bridge crossing teeter-tottering on wood plank video, it's going up here on YouTube.